Start now. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you for coming in Beta Talks. Today, Beta Talks feel honored because our we will make interview with Reverend Alyson, and we will talk a lot about her books. Her books entitled Mystic Vision, right? Mystic Vision.
Mystic Visions.
Oh, Mystic Vision, Mystic Vision. So, okay, maybe we can start now, yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. This is the
okay,
book.
yeah.
This book, you probably see, I don't know if you can see the writings maybe back to front, I'm not sure, but that's the book there.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Mystic Vision from
Mystic
Reverend
Vision.
Ellison and okay, Reverend Ellison, please tell me about what Mystic Vision is. What is your book about?
Hey. Um, well, it's a book that I recently wrote, and in it I talk about my beginnings through spiritualism and my experiences with both the physical and mental mediumship. And I just describe that sort of mystic journey that I was on and or am still on, I suppose. And I explain how I overcoming demonic and supernatural attacks led me to becoming an exorcist and a deacon. I suppose I don't really talk so much about being an exorcist or a deacon in the book, but it was those supernatural attacks that led on to that. And I just describe how I was guided by the angels and by God, and how I learned to protect myself from further spiritual assaults. And I show how my experiences made me realize that categorizing angels and aliens and demons and gods was quite much more challenging than I had anticipated. You know, you think that you see an angel and you know it's an angel, maybe it has wings or something like that. But um, the experiences that I had, I I found it difficult. I mean, there was one that I initially um thought, for example, a demonic attack, but it was accompanied by a UFO plasma light outside my home. And that object seemed to implode and disappear. That was seen by an independent witness. So I don't know, was that a portal to a demonic dimension? Or, you know, I don't think it was a physical UFO though. But it certainly made me think about UFOs. Although, as I say, I don't think it was so much alien, you know, like alien from another planet. I don't think it had to do with that. But it certainly made me think about that anyway. And then as time went on, the archangels and the angels made themselves known, and became a source of power and strength for me. I had never really been into the subject of angels prior to that. I was more into things like ghosts and stuff like, you know, interested in ghost stories and things like that. But it, they made themselves known to me, and and then came some precognitive visions, which I talk about. precognitive visions of 9/11 and the Paris attacks in 2015, and possibly even the paedophile priest phenomenon
Ah,
that's become quite a scandal for the church
yeah.
on a global scale. And I also explore the possibility that me and my family have this aptitude for predicting tragedies, accidents, forest fires, volcanic eruptions, outbreaks of disease. I don't know if that could be something, it could be nothing, but I felt like I'm going to put this in the book anyway because it's something that I've noticed. So then there's my later experiences which show that I have a bit of an aptitude for clairsentience in historical locations. So places like Borthwick Castle and Bothwell Castle and Edinburgh's Greyfriars Kirkyard are three places in particular that I felt, that I felt something or I saw something. And I also describe astral projection and time travel being achieved eventually, though it took many years of things like yoga and meditation and even veganism. And I explain how this seemed to produce a spontaneous experience. And that allowed me to see into another realm and communicate with some beings that some people call Pleiadians. But as I say, I later felt that no, actually, there was something definitely angelic about them. So the book, therefore, highlights the extraordinary variety of strange and mystical events that have surrounded me and gives examples of historical supernatural events as well. And I would say that ultimately it provides a guide to the novice mystic,
Mm.
somebody who's just starting out, or the avid and serious researcher of the supernatural, anybody that's interested in that subject, obviously, I would think would be interested in this even as a book for research. So I think anybody that was interested in that would see the validity of this, book. I hope. Yeah.
Okay, so your book is mostly based on your extraordinary experience. Ah, I see. And you told me about you make like categorizing about alien and demon, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe could you tell to us a little bit about what is different between maybe angel and demon and alien?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was very difficult in certain situations to distinguish these things. Um, the the beings that I saw, I mean, you could call them extraterrestrials because angels are also extraterrestrials. So you could say that, but it was a telepathic
Ah,
communication. They weren't actually there on my ceiling. There was something that was going to my forehead and giving me this information. So it was telepathic. Um, I can't remember though if when we were speaking like with our mouths or
yeah.
just in our telepathically. But what I was seeing was telepathic. And no, they didn't have wings. So they weren't sort of typical, but they were, like what we see in art. But the wings in art are there to show that the angels can
Can fly.
travel between dimensions.
Yeah,
That's what the wings represent. That's a that's an artist interpretation of an angel. Angels in reality don't have wings, but they can go between dimensions. Um, the what I saw, they had these sort of tight suits on, like you see in Star Trek. Um, and other people have seen these beings and called them Palladians. Now, I don't know why. I don't know why they think that the Palladians they come from the Pleiades. I'm not sure why that is, but it's all part of the mythology of these beings. Um, why they might be angelic in nature. Um, they just weren't quite human. Now, I know that you could say that about aliens as well, but they they had human features, but you could tell that they weren't quite human. Um, and they obviously wanted to help mankind. I I suppose another thing that I found out was I was looking at gods as well, uh, because I did classics at university. So I was looking at Greek gods, and I was looking at the similarities between Gabriel, who gave the message to Mary, and I was feeling like I'd been given a message. So I called this I call this that being, I call him Gabriel. Now, whether it was the Archangel Gabriel, I have a feeling that it was. So I was looking as well that in Greek mythology, they call the messenger god Hermes.
Hermes.
And in art, he's depicted as having wings, like wings on his feet, and sometimes wings on his back, but particularly or on his head. He has wings.
Yeah,
Um, so that's again an artist interpretation of this messenger being that can go between worlds. And in ancient times, he was called Hermes. Now, I looked at the what do you call it, like the family tree of the god Hermes, and his mother was called Maya, and Maya was one of the seven sisters,
mm.
and the seven sisters is the star constellation,
Pleiades.
the Pleiades, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So that connected the Palladians to the Greek gods. And there was something there as well. Um, so that's what I'm saying. There was the alien aspect or the extraterrestrial aspect. There was the gods aspect, and there was the angelic aspect. But whatever they are, um, they were definitely there to help, and they wanted me to tell people about them. And I think that they wanted people to know about them because they can help us. And they've kind of been forgotten about. And we forget that we can ask them for help anytime. Anytime we can call upon them and ask them for help. And I think that they just wanted to remind us of that fact, you know,
Yeah.
by they would have known that I had no particular interest in angels, so didn't have them to ask for help if I needed it. So they were letting me know and asking me to also pass on that message to other people.
Mhm.
So, um, but yeah, I've seen other similar looking beings. Well, one similar looking being face to face who wasn't quite human. And then I took a few steps along the road where I lived after being face to face with this being. And in front of my gate, there were 3 angel cards on the ground, which were written in German. I don't know why that might have been because I don't speak German, but when I interpreted them, they answered the problem that I was having at that time. And I still have those cards. Um, so as I say, they've made themselves known to me, they've made themselves known to friends. One lady asked her if she had any stories about angels because I was writing this book. And she said no, she didn't. She'd never had any experiences with the angels, but she believed in them. She didn't know if she prayed to them. She didn't know if they heard her, but she prayed to them. And I said, I'm sure that they do hear you. And as we're having this conversation, which was like on Facebook, we weren't face to face, we were on Facebook. So we're sitting at our computers, like 30, 40 miles apart. So she's typing and she would have been typing, in silence. She wouldn't have been speaking.
Oh.
And as I said, as I typed in, um, I'm sure they do hear you. Her little boy came into the room and said, Mummy, there's an angel behind you. And he went on to describe what this angel looked like. Now, so I think he was about 6 or something like that. Now, he didn't know what we were talking about. He had no idea what we were talking about because she was writing it down. She was typing it. I mean, she was typing it on Facebook, on
Yeah.
Messenger. Um, and this is the conversation we were having. She's saying, I don't know if they hear me, and I'm typing, and I keep saying she was typing, I don't know if they hear me, and I was typing back, I'm sure they do hear you.
Mm.
And just at that, her little boy comes in the room and says, there's an angel behind you, Mummy. It's like the angels had set that up, had set that whole conversation up so that she would know that the angels were with her and so that I would have more proof that
Well,
they exist.
exists. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful experience,
Yeah.
really special.
And you write your experience in your book?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay.
I did. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what inspired you to write this book?
Well, I think I wrote this book because I've had many experiences and I don't have any children to pass my story on to,
Uh,
you know. So in a way, this is my legacy. And otherwise the experiences would just have happened and very few people would know about them. So I also wrote this book because I had told I'd been told by colleagues, I'd discussed some of the things obviously with colleagues in the paranormal world, and they thought that these mystical adventures and ordeals ought to be in a book. And as somebody heavily involved in the paranormal community, with, for example, I've got my podcast, ADX-Files, and I co-organise the Scottish UFO and Paranormal Conference. I thought it was probably time that the paranormal and UFO communities knew about all the supernatural events that had taken place throughout my life, that might help further anyone's research on the subject. So
yeah.
that was what inspired me to write the book.
And how long did it take you to write Mystic Vision?
Well, some of the research goes back a number of years, like the section on demonic possession, for example. That was researched back in 2016. I think something else was researched back in 2015. Most of it, though, was put together and written, because it wasn't just like research, there was bits of research, but most of it was really like my story. Um, and most of that was written in about a year, I would say.
And well, you told to us that about your beautiful experience about a kid who told you that there is an angel behind you. And when you writing your books, did you encounter any challenge while writing this book? Like maybe for good experience or beautiful experience, maybe you someone told you that there is angel behind you. How about something else, maybe?
Um, no, there was nothing really when I was writing the book. When I was researching the demonic stuff,
Yeah.
things happened then that suggested that I was getting the attention of
Oh,
the demonic. Um, they I don't know if they don't like to be spoken about or they do like to be spoken about. People's opinions on that differ. But they can sort of show their presence by like, you know, you have a blackout, your electricity goes off, or um you're talking about them in a cafe and the lights begin to flicker. Electricity seems to be something that's important in that way. Um, I mean, there wasn't, I don't think there was too much when I was putting it together, because I think I was just like trying to be so focused on getting it written. But it's more like when I'm doing research on things that I don't know about, that I'll experience something. So as I say, like when I was doing exorcism and possession. I would experience certain things. But no, I think most the biggest challenge when you're writing a book is procrastination, putting off
Yeah, yeah.
writing to do other things, um, or simply having other important things to do because, life gets in the way of being able to sit down and write. And another problem is that I have various illnesses, so I'm on medication, and that can make me
Uh,
extremely tired, or I can be in extreme pain, and both of these things interfere with writing. So, I just, I write when I could. It was as simple as that, and sometimes I'll write during the night because I sometimes have insomnia as well. So I sometimes write during the night, and I just write whenever I'm able to, you know, and and also setting a certain amount of words per day, you know, just something achievable, like say, right, if I write 1,000 words a day, or even 500 words a day, that's totally achievable. And then if you just sort of stick to that, you've got a book over time, over a fairly short period of time, you would have a book. It's definitely within a year. If you did that, it would be you would manage to write a book. So, um, yeah, those were the bigger. The challenges weren't so much paranormal. The challenges were just these other things that get in the way.
yeah, yeah. For I I'm also a writer about crime fiction, and yeah, I I asked to my friends, and yeah, they said something like procrastination is the biggest enemy and the biggest
It is.
challenge.
It is. I mean, I know that from when I was a student as well, and every student was the same. It wasn't just me. That when you have an essay to write, your flat gets, it's never been cleaner because you decide, like, I'll do the dishes first, and then I'll sit down. Oh, I'll just hoover first, and then I'll sit down and do my essay. You come up with all these things that you need to do before you sit down and do your essay. So yeah, usually have an extremely clean flat, but you don't have your essay written, or you don't have your book written. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's just that sometimes you don't know where to start. But I think, if you get yourself a plan, then you kind of know where you're going from there.
yeah. And how about which chapter took the longest to write and why?
I would say chapter 4, the encounters with supernatural beings, that's the longest chapter because there are so many different types of beings, and I wanted to describe what I could about all those experiences. So not only just describe what happened to me, but I describe the mythology of the beings, and in the demonic case, I describe how I got rid of that supernatural threat. And I look at things like anecdotal evidence, and that tells me, for example, why is 3 a.m. an important time? What can you do to keep demons away? What are demons, etc. And then there are my experiences with angels, which I've spoken about, and there's quite a lot of them to tell people about. So I think it's a really important chapter because, um, these beings that I think were angels, uh, some call them Palladians, as we've said. So I think it could even be like, depending on the culture and the belief, I think we interpret what we see through our own lens.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, just as I said, the beings told me that I must tell people about them. That was my only instruction. Um, and I think that's because people are forgetting about them and how they can help human beings and how they can save us from the demonic. And I felt that it was important to get all that written and get all the background and the mythology written so that people understand what these things are and what they do, and they how angels can help, and how you can protect yourself from demons, and defeat them. So I felt it was quite important to get as much information down on all these various different beings. So definitely chapter 4 was the longest to write.
Uh, about a supernatural being, I remember
Mm.
there is uh, beings that taught by many peoples and many culture. It is reptilian. Uh, Based on your experience, what is a reptilian? Are they
Well,
evil?
I would say so. I don't have much experience of reptilians, if you could say any. I've spoken to other people who have had experiences, usually not very nice experiences of reptilian beings. Um, I, in what happened, like what I saw was in a development circle, psychic development circle, and somebody there, I could I could almost see it in my mind's eye. I mean, because you're doing psychic work, I could see uh this man in the circle, and it was like there was something reptilian on his back. And I said to him, "Are you one of these reptilians?" And he just looked at me and said, "You're not the first person to have said that."
Wow.
So someone else had seen this as well at some point. He didn't elaborate on that, but I think it was possibly attached to him, which makes me think that reptilians are actually more supernatural beings. If it was like an attachment. He was extremely draining. Like I said to my husband, because it was his circle, I said to him, if ever I have met a psychic vampire, it's that man. I didn't say it in public, I just said
Yeah,
it to my husband. Um, this man was really what you would call a psychic vampire. He just drained your energy.
energy.
He really did. Um, you probably couldn't even put your finger on what it was that he was doing. But, you know, I think he would just like draw all this information from you, but give you reasons why he couldn't use that, and he would just draw more and more information from you. It's really it's kind of difficult to explain, and it was quite a while ago, so I can't remember too much about it, except that when you're in the presence of a psychic vampire, as we call them, um, you just feel exhausted, totally exhausted, just talking to them. They just drain your energy. And yeah, he was definitely one. But it's interesting that I also saw this something reptilian, and I didn't really know much about reptilians at all. I've also seen angel wings on someone. Someone
Oh,
turned round and I just saw these huge angel wings coming out of them. And so I don't think that they were an angel, but I think they definitely had an angel with them. Um,
so
so
some
yeah,
people have angel behind them, and some people maybe is a psychic vampire.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And psychic vampirism, that is a type of demonic thing. So I think that reptilians like are something demonic. That's what I would say. But that's me coming from my culture and my beliefs, which are less focused on the alien as they are on the like the sort of Christian ideas of demons and angels. That's my mindset. Somebody else might interpret that completely differently. Uh, and I try not to push like any beliefs onto people. Um, I just try to explain what I've experienced and what I think it means. But I'm totally open to the possibility that I'm wrong about that. And I'm totally okay with somebody saying, well, that's not what I believe. I believe this. But that's what I think. I think that there is something demonic about reptilians. Yeah, they're I don't think they're good guys.
uh, and about person who uh, has angel behind the person. Uh, you saw the wings. Can you
Mm.
describe the wings? Like maybe the color, the forms?
Uh, yeah, they were just enormous white wings. That was all. That was all. Very big white wings. Yeah, like feathers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very interesting. So yeah, people can attach with angel and also with a demonic energy that is f- very uh, very new information to me because
Mm.
yeah in my knowledge about spiritual beings, people only can attach it by maybe ghost or spirit or yeah, but with angel and like spiritual vampire, it is first
Mm.
time I heard about. Okay,
Yeah.
how about, can you share any interesting behind the scenes tidbits about the writing process?
Um, well, as I said before, the first thing that I did was to plan out what I was going to write. So I wrote down all the various chapters and then separated out the experiences into their categories. And then I wrote my experiences down. And after that, I investigated and took notes about others' experiences, what other researchers were saying, things like mythologies, So like if you're writing a book, you should do a lot of research about the subject that you're writing about, because you want to be able to back up what you're saying and show that other learned people have said the same, or what, academics, I mean, what they might have said on a certain subject. I don't spend much time looking at the scientific facts. Um, that science is for others. I know that in the UFO world and even in the paranormal world, um, people think that science is the be all and end all, and things must be proved. And
Yeah.
I don't, I don't feel that I have anything to prove to anyone. Um, if they believe what I say, good, because it's true.
Yeah.
And if they don't, if they're skeptics, um, or they think that they have another explanation, fine. I,
Yeah.
you know, I don't really feel the need to scientifically prove my experiences. Um, the book is about the visionary experience and what it gives in a spiritual sense. And I don't think that science and the spiritual can ever really work together. I think they're separate things.
Yeah.
And, never the twain shall meet, as the saying goes, they're not in the same world. And of course, after you've done once you've done your book, you're writing, you
Yeah.
have to then go through it again and again with a fine tooth comb, and make sure that there's no mistakes.
Yeah.
And do you need to add something? Have you forgotten something? And I did. There were things that I'd forgotten to put in. Do you delete something that's not really important? So it helps to have a few others to look at it and proofread it, because sometimes we don't see our own mistakes because we've been looking at it too long. So I put some thank yous at the beginning of the book. These were the people, some of them anyway, who proofread my book, and gave me their opinion on it. And also I thanked people whose, like, their photographs or something like that I used in the book. I also like, here's another interesting thing to take away. I also like to write with music in the background. Not music with singing, but something like classical music. Um, that helps me to get in the mood.
Yeah.
And my favorite is Chopin.
Yeah. Come on.
Uh,
That's
yeah,
yeah.
that's my favorite. So I often write with his music playing in the background. And I would say also, don't stop at literary research. I also look at art. I looked at art, as I said to you, when I was researching, and found a lot of information there. When I looked at art, um, what people thought were UFOs in art, I could see as something different. I could see like the Annunciation. I think it's the Annunciation by Crivelli. Uh, then there's the beam of light pointing to Mary's forehead, and there's a circle up in the sky. So this is where this this part of, I guess the artist has thought this part of heaven has opened up, and this beam of light has beamed to Mary's forehead to give her this information. So to me, that's not a UFO in the sky. To me, that's like heaven opening for this angel to come through and give this message to Mary. So that's how I would interpret it. But I found it so fascinating, just that in itself, that an artist had either experienced this in order to paint it, or somebody they knew had experienced this. They must have done, because it told me that I was not the first person to have experienced this beam of light at the forehead. Others must have had that as well.
About
And
yeah.
it's in other, it's not just in that one painting, it's in other paintings. It tends to be Annunciation paintings though, because I think that's the main story that people have of the angels giving a message, or Gabriel bringing a message. That's the main story. Well, I believe that happened to me. I had that same experience. It's not I believe that happened. I had that same experience.
I see. Yeah.
And I had that being give me that information. So art became an important factor and gave me a lot of information. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Pak Reza boleh tanya nggak? Sorry. Sorry,
Nanti ya,
sorry.
Pak.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe you can ask later. Okay. Uh, Reverend Ellison, I agree with you about sometimes science or the experience maybe cannot cannot be combined into one,
mm,
because like this case, in 1988, in UK, in UK, several people saw a triangle UFO with
mhm,
with light in every side of the UFO, and maybe some scientist persons uh, told to the public that that is not UFO, but something like, I don't remember the code name of the planes, but it is like F 117. I don't remember. But when the scientist answer give to the witness said, "No, that is not a military aircraft or human or airplane that made by human being. It is very different." And yeah, between witness and explanation maybe cannot be into one. But
mm.
that's okay. That's okay. About the beam of light, could you tell me more about the beam in your forehead? Is it always about a message or something?
I I really don't know. I mean, it only happened that once. Um, and the beam, I think we spoke about this in my previous interview. I with you. I woke up and there was this platform above my head that I could see, but I guess I must have been seeing it through like telepathically, because there was this beam of light going to my forehead where, you know, traditionally people call it the third eye, or your psychic awareness.
Oh,
And there was a man looking down at me from this platform, and he said, "We've got her," to other beings that I couldn't see yet, but they quickly came over, and this one being reached down and said, "You have to tell people about us." And I said, I will. And he said, "You must promise that you'll tell people about us." And I said, I will, I promise. And, you know, just everything was going, you know, the terror, elation, everything, you know, I just didn't know what to think, what was going on. And then that, you know, and I also felt I was being pulled up as well as this beam of light. My shoulders and my head were off the pillow, and they were being pulled up. What else could I tell you? I think like it was almost like a cone, you know, because it
yeah. Cone shape, maybe?
you know, this sort of, because there was the circle, there was a beam of light, but there was this sort of light coming down from it as well. Just letting me see as much as possible with the space that was there. I don't know what else to say about it. You know, it was just a beam of light. And I'm not the only person to have experienced it, but it's certainly been interpreted in the past as a religious experience. Going by artwork that I've seen of Annunciation paintings, it's been interpreted as a religious experience. So that, I think, is also partly why I think the beings were angels, and that this was some kind of religious experience. And I interpreted it that the angels feel like they've been forgotten, that they exist, and we need them in order to defeat the powers of darkness, if you want to call it that, you know, the evil in the world. And there's lots of it. There is lots of it. And the angels can help us with that. They definitely can.
Yeah. Okay. We have two questions in chat box. I will read it for you. This is from Dino Michael. Mrs. Allison, what is your opinion about cattle mutilation? Maybe you write it in your books.
About what?
Cattle mutilation. Cattle mutilation.
I think I'll need to see how that's written. I'm not sure what that is. Hold on.
Cattle mutilation.
Is it in the chat box, did you
Yeah,
say?
in the chat
Let me just
box.
have. Oh, cattle mutilation. Okay.
Cattle.
Um, I know that a lot of people associate cattle mutilation with the UFO side of things. I'm not really sure why, but they do. I did a talk on people who murder for their religion. And I suspect that some very disturbed individuals are responsible for cattle mutilations and nothing to do with aliens or UFOs.
So it is like just a crime by human?
I think so. I think so. And what you also find is that people, and it's particularly men, I don't know exactly why, but it's particularly men who go on to become serial killers, but they often start out by torturing or killing animals.
Because animal cannot fight back.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly that. Exactly that. And I think when animal mutilation happens, you very quickly should find the perpetrator because they are likely to move on to humans. They're very likely to move on to humans.
Yeah, I have ever watched about a news in Indonesia. There was a case, a buffalo slaughtered precisely, and the body hang hanged on a tree branch, and it is uh it is murdered by 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 local people because the murder is angry with the with the cattle owner. So he slaughtered the buffalo and hang it in the uh, tree branch, and it's look like cattle mutilation. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
So
as you
yeah,
say, they can't, these poor animals can't fight back.
yeah,
And they just, God love them. They suffer because of that. So
yeah. And for a second question from Tatot. Good afternoon, Reverend Ellison. I like your words. I will not scientifically prove my experience. It's interesting. Maybe someday science can explain that. It is a matter of time, I think. Also, I like to know what should we do or react, if
react.
react,
Right.
react if we have non-human encounter experience. Maybe it is about ghosts, aliens, mermaids, or half human, half animal creature.
What should we do? How should we react?
Yeah,
Well, I guess it depends whether you think that you're having a good experience or a bad experience. Um, if you think it's a good experience, you would simply ask, what's your message? What do you want from me? Um, so for example, I've done some rescue work, and rescue work is when a spirit appears to you and it doesn't know where it is. Um, so I've had a few children come in and in spirit, and they don't know where they are. And I'll just say to them, I'll like visualize a doorway for them, and I'll tell them where the doorway is and show them where it is, and say to them, like, if you go through this door here, there will be someone to meet you on the other side, and they will take you to where you need to go. And they'll show you the way. So it's usually, and sometimes an angel will come through the doorway to take them. So that's what I do. If a spirit person appears to me, I'll create a doorway for them. I had to do that in a house recently that I went to visit, that there were some paranormal things happening in, and we were asked to visit and see what we could pick up. And in the front room, I met this lady, and she didn't know why she was there. She had nothing to do with the lady who owned the house. She wasn't a relative or anything like that, and or a friend, and she didn't know why she was there, and she didn't know where she was. So I did that. I created a doorway for her, and I said, "It's okay. You're fine. You're fine. You're just a wee bit lost. If you go through this door, you know, you'll be met on the other side, and somebody will show you, you know, where you should be, where you should go." So that's what you might do if you encounter a spirit. You're more likely to encounter, I think, these things. We often think that we will have this, like, you know, experience where we see something with our physical eyes, and sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. But in my time, a lot of the time, I'm seeing it with my third eye. Now, a lot of the experiences that I talked about in my book, no, I saw a lot of them with my physical eyes. But with the spirit rescue, that would be seen like psychically. So yeah, I mean, if you see something and you think you're a bit frightened, you think it's something good, but you're a bit frightened, you just ask, like, what is it you want? What do you want? And they'll tell you why they're there. If you think it's a bad thing, or even if it is a good thing and you think it's a bad thing, you know, you tell it to go. In no uncertain terms, you tell it to go. It's not wanted there. It's not needed. And you just leave the situation, you know. If you can't leave, if it's in your own home, then you just tell it to go. You say the Lord's Prayer, or throw holy water at it, or something, you know, whatever you feel will work. So yeah, what's that? Half human, half animal creature. Wow. Actually, my husband has seen those, as I say, as a psychic medium, when we've been out the in nature, you know, and he saw it's a centaur,
Oh,
half man,
center.
half horse, and they were saying to him they really don't like what people are doing to nature. People are destroying their habitats, and you know, that was really all it said, and then it went away. So yeah, I mean, if you encounter something, then converse with it, you know, if you feel like it, if you feel it's good, if you feel it's bad, you just tell it to go away.
So that is Mr. Gatot, the answer from Reverend Ellison. If you don't like about seeing the creature, maybe you can ask them to go away. And uh, how about how about if someone uh, doesn't like about the seeing something like that, and maybe the person almost feel crazy, what should she or he do?
Well, first of all, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
And because it's easy to think that am I losing my mind? You know, first experience I had, I thought, have I got a sleep disorder? You know, or something like that. Um, yeah, you can visit a doctor if you think that will help you. Um, the lady that I worked with, she had been to a doctor. She had had x-rays done. She had had 3 sets of counselling, and nobody seemed to be helping her. Nobody seemed to be able to help her. She was really quite desperate by the time she got to me. Yeah, so you could visit a spiritualist church, get in touch with a psychic medium. Um, and I would suggest that you did that through a spiritualist church. If you feel like you're unsure what's happening, like in your home, you could do that to find out. And if you just want to get rid of it, then and you think it's something really bad, particularly if you think it's something really bad that you need to get rid of, then I would suggest you get a priest to do an exorcism.
Okay. And okay, back to your books. Were there any specific literary influences or references that shaped your approach to writing this book?
There are literary references like to Homer and Gilgamesh,
Uh,
but I wouldn't say that any of these references shaped my approach to writing this book. I think the only thing really that shaped the book was my own personal timeline and what happened within it, you know, and really that's all that shaped the book. Um, I I guess another thing that I would like to mention is the story of Anneliese Michael, the German lady who girl, she was very young, who was possessed. Um, and I've always felt her story was important and worthy of inclusion in the book. So her story influences my writing. Um, or no, it doesn't influence the writing as such, but it influences it influenced, you know, I felt I should include it. But no, I don't think there was any other literary references. I can't think of any. Did you notice any?
Um, I don't know, but for me, if I uh, now I'm writing my first UFO books, and I use a lot a reference from Jacques Valley and John Keel.
Sorry, from what?
Uh, Jacques Valley. Jacques Valley. He is a UFO UFO expert from France, and but live in, I think it's in
Oh, is
USA.
it Jacques? Is
Yeah,
it
Jacques
Jacques
Valley.
Vallée?
Yeah,
Jacques
Jacques Valley.
Vallée.
Jacques Valley and
Yeah.
John Keel
Yes. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
ah from book written by Emmanuel Swedenborg.
Oh, yeah.
Emmanuel Swedenborg. Yeah,
Yeah.
his
I know who
experience
you're
is
talking about. Yeah.
Emmanuel Swedenborg. I think his experience is awesome in my opinion, and not not many people talk about him, but I
No.
think yeah, his experience about
Uh,
spiritual beings from another planet is awesome.
mhm. I need to read more about Swedenborg. Uh, I know about him, and the reason that I know about him was that there was a church that
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
used to live round the corner from, and this church is now a Methodist church. Um, but it was originally built, when I was looking at the history of it, it was originally built by Swedenborgians.
yeah,
So people who followed Swedenborg. And then I looked to see what does that mean, and it said that Swedenborg said that he was able to travel between
yeah,
heaven and hell
yeah.
and communicate with demons and angels
Angels.
like at will. Um, and I found that really fascinating. And the fact that this church was just round the corner from me, So I found that really interesting. But because I've just had so many other things to take my time with writing and researching other stuff, I haven't really had time to sit down and read any stuff about him, but it's on my list of things to do. It definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because yeah, his experience out of body experience, and he traveled out from the earth and visited Mercurius and Venus, and I think the last is Jupiter, and he met spiritual beings from the planets, and yeah,
Mm,
it's very fascinating.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is
yeah.
interesting. Yeah, definitely need to read about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, maybe someone want to ask something, so I will find in the chat box.
Okay.
Ah, there is someone. He told in Indonesian language, but I will translate to you. He asked to you, what is your opinion if someone encountered several events, but the event is look like by accident, and the event is about numbers, and the numbers can be the sign of the future, and is it is it supranatural things or uh, something in paranormal paranormal discussion, or it's just useless events, or what is it? So
And
there's people who encountered many events about the numbers, but the numbers can be can be designed from the future of
yeah,
his
like
yeah,
just now, I'm looking at the time and it's 15:15,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's 15:15 right now.
Yeah,
Right now, when you're asking that question, it's 15:15. Um, Often, very often, I don't know if this is the question you're asking. Is that the question you're asking, like about multiple numbers, seeing multiple numbers? I think that's what you're asking. I often, very often, I'll like wake up in the morning and open my phone and it's like 0808 or 0707 or something like that, you know. It happens at all the time, all the time, like all different times of the day, you know. 2222, you know, 2222 all the time. Uh, I know that some people call that angel numbers.
yeah.
I don't I I don't know why they think that. I don't know if they're right in their interpretation of these so-called angel numbers. I really don't know. But what I think it perhaps shows is that our awareness is being raised. It's being raised slightly. Um, and more than that, I'm not sure what it means. I know that some people say that like we're looking at the clock all the time, but we're thinking like something significant when we see it reading like multiple numbers, but we're looking at the time when it says other numbers as well. Um, I'm trying to think what that's called because it has a scientific name. I think it's something bias. Um, is it just information bias or something like that? I can't remember now, but it has a particular term. Um, but this has happened to me so often. I'll open my phone and then I'll say to my husband to prove it, I'll go, look at the time, look. And I do that so often that it has to mean something else. There has to be some kind of supernatural
Events.
event behind that. Yeah. I I just don't know exactly what it means though. Other than if you Google angel numbers, you'll find plenty of sites that say like, oh, 1111 means blah blah blah, 2222 means da 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 da, and so on. But I don't know why they think that or where they get that information from. So I don't know. Don't know what
Okay.
it means. But it means something.
Yeah,
It means
it
something.
means something. It means something.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there is a there is a question from Mr. Susanto. Maybe Mr. Susanto want to ask to Reverend Ellison.
Yes, thank you, Pak Reza. Thank you for the time, Pak Reza. So, okay, so I call you Ellison, yeah, because my name is
Yes.
Santo, yes. Okay, so basically, I quite interesting, yeah, because you want to become a reference, right? So I think from since you child, you have has a ability for the sidekick, or I think you said that your third eye is open. So basically, no. From your side, I want to know. Because you said that you met with the Gabriel. Yeah. Since after you met that this one angel, so you become more spiritual, become reference, or uh, before that you already has a reference, then you met with the angel. Uh, the other
Good
since
question.
yeah, the since that you met some angel, yeah, like you said that Gabriel. Probably I don't know, which is you already met also Michael and Uriel and Sandalphon and Camuel and etc. etc. Or you also met with the some alien, yeah, like you said that's Palladian, Syrian, maybe Arcturian or reptilian. Then since you know this terminology, then you also read the uh, Epic Gilgamesh, right? I want to know, so you more specific for angelology or uh, alien? Alien, this kind of specific of the alien. This the first, yeah. The second question is quite related with the your position now as a reference. So what you think? Because it's like a free thinker, yeah. What you think is about uh, Father, yeah, because I'm Christian also, Father or God, and Jesus is Son of
Mhm,
God, or
mhm,
what you said is kind of the higher being, or maybe is typical of Palladian also. It's no problem, yeah. It's based on the your thing, yeah, New Age or Christianity, and also the
mhm,
Holy Spirit. That's the second question. The third question, because you said that's demonology, demonic, yeah. How, what do you think the demonic? Yeah, because the last time that Mr. Reza also already just what call yeah give the idea this kind of the reptilian, yeah. So the demonic, since you know the demonic, demon and angel, so the demonic has is it has a evil spirit or they are neutral? Then from your perspective also reference, you know the like is demonology, yeah, you know, like Lucifer, Belial, kind of the yeah Samael
mhm.
probably, or this also kind of different alien also, but has a evil motive, yeah, to human, sapiens, yeah. This from my question, yeah. Sorry, yeah, Pak Reza, yeah.
Okay.
Three
I'll
question,
I'll tr- I'll try to remember all the questions.
yeah.
So, first of all, I lean more towards believing that it was angels that I saw. And yes, my beliefs did change. They were influenced by my angelic experiences. They definitely were. So I had gone through spiritualism and Buddhism, um, and paganism, and I still have those, beliefs with me. They're still they make up part of who I am and my spirituality. But um, after having these angelic experiences, it definitely guided me, and ultimately it was um, being given a sense of who Jesus is that was the final sort of push that I for me to decide to call myself Christian. That yes, I did believe in Jesus. I did believe in Christ. Um, And you also asked the question about demons, and I think you asked were reptilians. Did you ask were reptilians demonic in nature? Was that your question?
My question, yeah, because last time the Mr. Reza said that the one is race is reptilian, then is demonic, right? That you from your perspective. So
I
basically,
think
yeah,
I
basically,
think, and
uh,
I'm only going by the what I saw, like the attachment that looked reptilian
mm,
with someone and his behavior.
yes,
To me, he had something bad with him. Um, and the fact that it was an attachment suggested that it was a supernatural being
mm,
rather than a physical being. And so that suggests that it's doing the same sort of thing as a demon would do. Um, and therefore we could categorize it as
mm.
demonic.
Sorry,
And
sorry. Since you know the demonic, yeah, because it's like you said that's reptilian. You also studying about the sorry, the Gotia book, that the fallen angel or
oh,
Hanok. Oh
yeah,
no.
I I don't I only know a little bit about the
Mm,
Gotia.
okay.
Um, I mean, I know something of the demons that
Yes.
are mentioned in like ceremonial magic, and actually the demon that I have been wrestling with on
Mm.
behalf of this lady that I mentioned is Beelzebub,
Ah,
who
okay.
is a prince of hell.
Mm,
Um, and has been has proved extremely difficult to get rid of.
yeah.
Um, I think he's also called Lord of the Flies.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Understood. Thank you. But good luck. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Thank you
reach
very
your
much.
vibration. Yeah. Because you become different. So you believe it. The angel, Jesus, and the Father and Holy Spirit. Congratulations. Thank you, Pak Riza. I give it time back to Pak Riza. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So it's about wait, is there any question in chat box? Oh no. Okay. So maybe I will show to audience about your books. Wait, I will share screen. So this is about the author, about Reverend Alyson, theologian and exorcist with a classic degree from the University of Glasgow. She has had a variety of experiences across the board of the supernatural. This led Alyson to her interest in supernatural religion, beliefs, and experiences, which is to focus on her lecture for the Scottish UFO and Paranormal Conference, of which she is an organizer. She heads of SPI Scotland, Could you tell me again what is SPI refers to?
It's
SPI.
strange phenomena
Oh, okay.
investigations. So if there's anything, anomalous happens
Yeah.
and people want you to try and find out for them what's going on.
Okay. And researching anomalous events, she has appeared on TV and radio discussing various mystical and otherworldly subjects. Alyson also hosts and produces her own radio show, ADX-File. What refers to ADX? AD means
AD is Alyson Dunlop.
I see. Okay, okay.
So it was before I got married. Dunlop's my maiden name. So
Uh,
I was called Alyson Dunlop, so I called it the ADX fit. And obviously X-Files, the TV series X-Files. Originally I was doing my show on a radio station out in an area called Eastern Bartonshire. So it's called Eastern Bartonshire Radio. So it was originally called ADX-Files for Eastern Bartonshire Radio. So it was ADX-Files. And then when I left there, I changed it to ADX-Files.
that that's cool name. ADX-Files. Easy to remember and easy to spell. ADX-File.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is your previous conference talks,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
communications. Ah, I want to know what is different between a shaman and medium. Is it totally different or almost same?
No, it's not totally different. It's not totally different. There's a lot of similarities.
Oh,
Um, Although shamans have some different practices, it depends.
hmm,
It depends on the shaman. It depends. You know, some shamans will use plants for visions, whereas mediums will not. So that's, I think, one of the main differences is that mediums believe that you don't have to do that, that you can get things psychically, whereas I think shamans, they want like to see the visions, like they don't maybe so much get it like psychically, they get it through having visions.
okay. And demons and dark places, angels are celestial allies. I got this data from Mr. Philip Mantle. Uh,
All right, okay.
yeah.
I
And
think it's most of that is up on I might actually have added to it, but most of it is up on the conference webpage, which is Scottish UFO and Paranormal Conference
oh,
.wordpress.com. And it shows you all my various talks that I've done in the past.
okay. What is the address? Where is? Wait.
Oh,
Scottish.
I put it in the chat. Hang on.
Okay.
There you go. Can you hear my cat howling?
What?
Can you hear my cat?
No, no.
He stopped now, but he's been howling the whole time. Because he wants in here. He doesn't want to be through the room, so he's howling to get in.
Yeah. What is your cat's color? Is it black or
No, he's
orange?
grey. He's
Oh, gray.
grey. Yeah, that's why he's called Gandalf.
Oh,
Gan
the name is Gandalf, or the color reminds you
yeah,
with
yeah,
Gandalf?
no, his name is Gandalf, so he's Gandalf the Grey.
So here's the Scottish UFO and Paranormal Conference.
That's it. Saturday, 15th of June.
I think I learned a lot from UFO enthusiasts in other country. They like to uh, hold a conference like this. It is a good idea and it is inspired me a lot.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Do you not have any UFO conferences where you are?
Uh, Pardon? UFO that I
Are
heard.
there no conferences in Indonesia where you are?
Yeah. Last year, Peta UFO make the first conference, and
Good.
surprisingly, there was a military person with high ranks, and he witnessed strange phenomena in his radar. Um,
Right.
and what is what what is makes ours what is makes shock is about the speed is around more than one, maybe more than 100 kilometers per hour. The object then vanishing, uh like
Wow.
yeah, maybe like air, they cannot see.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Incredible.
okay, very
I think
interesting.
the thing with our conference is it's not just UFOs. There's we like to have something there for everyone, so it could be in any sort of paranormal, supernatural
Yeah.
subject, or strange subject. Um, so we've got an artist this year, and uh, her artwork is kind of like the magic in nature, and even witchcraft places where there's been people burned as witches and things like that. And then uh, I'm doing my psychic attack and self-defense talk.
Mm.
Um, trying to think what else. Oh yeah, there's a lady who's going to be talking about ghosts, the ghosts of um the spirits that she talks to in the she works in Kuros Palace, and
Kuros.
she'll be talking about Kuros Palace. It's Kuros is. Have you seen the program Outlander? Do you know the program Outlander?
Outlander, no.
Outlander, no. There's a program, a Scottish TV series called Outlander, and it was filmed in Kuros. And it's a lovely, absolutely beautiful little village. And there's a palace there, and this lady works in this palace, and there are spirits there. Uh, these spirits are spirits of people who were burned as witches. um, and she communicates with them. So she's going to be talking to us about the spirits of Kuros Palace.
So there is a palace and there is a lady who can talk with the spirit of the palace.
Yeah, yeah. So our conferences, I say, we always have like loads of different types of talk. So somebody will be talking about aliens, somebody will be talking about UFOs, somebody will be talking about ghosts, somebody will be talking about demons, or a psychic attack, and somebody else is talking about the white lady phenomenon. So this is like a lady dressed all in white who appears in like rural locations, country locations.
Yeah.
So I think that'll involve like I think that's more like a Marian apparition, apparitions of the Virgin Mary.
Oh,
I think that's where he's going to go with that. It doesn't say it in his write up, but I think that's what he's going to be discussing.
do you know the funny things is spirit in Indonesia is quite scary than the other country. if if maybe in Europe country we can meet ghosts with a tone and maybe ghosts from uh palace or maybe aristocratic clothes. In Indonesia is very scary and yeah,
I think
maybe yeah.
maybe in Indonesia they do they have like big teeth and their big claws and things like that? What's
Yeah,
scary about them? What makes them
I
scary?
the maybe the big teeth and fangs is culture in Bali Island. Bali is one of popular island in Indonesia. Uh, may- maybe the most popular ghost form in Indonesia is uh, you know how to describe it. It is like a corpse and wearing a white white not white clothes, white. It is very scary. I cannot I cannot say this because it is difficult to explain, but
Hmm. Hmm.
maybe I can show you the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids in Indonesia will running if people tell story about this ghost. Wait, are you ready? Are you ready? This is just illustration. This is just illustration, but this ghost is like this. This is the popular
Uh,
uh, ghost form in Indonesia, and yeah, it is
okay.
maybe the most terrifying form.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's
yeah.
quite scary, isn't it? That's quite scary.
But maybe in modern era, the ghost like this is not exist, but just
Yeah, it's kind of that kind of reminds me of like a mummy,
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
Egyptian mummy.
yeah.
It's a little bit like that.
But Mummy is a king corpse, but that ghost is not from the kingdom, just people, just common
Yeah.
people in Indonesia. And okay, here's about your book again. Wait. Okay, this is Mystic Visions from Reverend Alyson. You can have the hardback, paperback, Kindle, and audiobooks.
Mhm.
This is the link to order the books, right? Flying the Express or in Amazon.
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 Yeah.
Flying the Express is the publisher. This is Mystic Vision paperback.
Oh yeah, Flying Disc Press. Yeah, that's the publisher. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
publisher.
it's available on Amazon.
The cover is very cool.
Thank you. Well, it wasn't me that I'm saying thank you. It wasn't me that did it. There was someone else that did it.
Mystic Visions. So, are you still get the vision until now?
I'm trying to think. It's been a little while since anything's happened.
Okay.
I've probably just been so busy with other things that I think maybe they're leaving me to it. Maybe they're leaving me to write my book and get the word out there that they exist. No, I mean I've spoken to spirits. There's not really
Oh,
been any other sort of mystical things happened, but I have spoken to spirits. You know, people who have recently died or, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
uh, since what age you got your first vision?
I think I was I, I was about 21.
21.
Yeah, and it was after a friend's funeral that I saw something. Um, that was probably that was the first time that I can think. Um, when I was very young, like maybe about 10 or 11, 12, something like that. I did hear breathing in my ear. Um, when but it wasn't me breathing. Something was breathing beside me. That was I was really scared by that, and it never happened again. Um, we lived at that time. We lived in an old Victorian house. It was like over 100 years old,
Oh,
and I think maybe it was just a spirit of the place, and maybe they hadn't meant to frighten me, so they just stayed out of sight, sort of thing. But that that wasn't much of an experience. I would say probably when I was in my early 20s, I was about 21 when I experienced something, and then something really major when I was in my late 20s, which was the incubus experience.
that was scary. Someone or something
Mm.
breathe, breathing in your ears, and that's not your breath, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I ran out the room. I ran out the room and down the stairs, and I got to the stairs. My brother was standing at the bottom of the stairs, and I just leapt into his arms. I ran down the stairs, and he just happened to be there, and I just jumped into his arms. And I said, "There's breathing coming from the mirror," because I'd been looking in a mirror at the time. And he's like, "You probably heard your own breathing because you've been standing next to it." And I'm like, "No, no, it was something else. It was something else." So, um, yeah, that was.
But sometimes the reaction of the people who heard who listened our who heard our our story, the reaction is quite funny, like your brother, maybe it's your own breathing. And yeah, I
Yeah, and
remember,
I'm
yeah.
going, no, there's like breathing coming in my ear. It's not my own breathing, you know?
And how come we can hear our own breathing? And yeah, I remember there was a boy who saw huge UFO in front of his house, and he said to his mom, and his mom react just, that is because you are not uh, y- you didn't pray. You didn't pray in the morning. You see UFO because you didn't pray in the morning. And yeah, the boy is
Okay.
just
I'm not
upset.
sure how like how that how one influences the other. It makes no sense, doesn't it? Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, very
Oh,
strange. I, s-
yeah,
I saw somebody writing there, is the
yeah,
Loch Ness monster real?
yeah. Is it
And
real?
yes, of course it's real. Of course it is. Absolutely.
Oh, that Nessie
Absolutely.
is real.
Yes,
Oh,
it absolutely is. I
wait,
I
is
believe,
it animal, a real animal, or maybe interdimensional creature?
well, you might be onto something there when you say interdimensional.
Oh,
Some people believe it's a real creature and they go out looking for this real creature, uh, like a physical, like an animal. I'm not sure that that's what it is. I think that it's a dinosaur ghost.
ah, I see.
That's what I think it is. The ghost of a dinosaur. And I know somebody who's seen it. I know somebody who saw it. They had been
Oh,
out at, they'd been out on an investigation. It was the middle of the night, and on their way back, they stopped at the loch. And the guy went down to the shoreline to just have a look at along the loch. He had a cup of tea or a cup of coffee in a flask, and he was drinking his coffee or his tea. He's just looking out at the water and thinking his thoughts. And he said, just at that, this he said like the moon was coming down and shining across the water, and in that light, he said this thing just came right up and it
yeah.
swished about like this, and then it went back down. And he said it was huge. This that came out the water, it was huge. Swished about, back down, straight back down.
Wow.
It's something. What it is, I like the idea of a dinosaur ghost though. I like that idea. And I like the idea of the interdimensional creature as well,
Ah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so elusive. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
elusive. It really is. But also Loch Ness is like it's so deep. It's
Yeah.
unbelievably deep. And it has all these little caves and things. So anything could hide in there. If it was a real creature, if it's a real animal, anything could hide down there.
Uh,
Um,
is it possible to make the lake drained?
no,
No, No.
No, it's too
It's too
big.
deep.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it's also too big. It's huge. It's a huge loch.
Okay.
Um, yeah. I have to teach you how to say loch.
What is loch?
Loch.
Lake?
Loch.
Loch?
Yeah, but loch. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like that.
Loch.
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 That's it. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that's how we say it in Scotland.
Oh.
Yeah. Because the English have a habit of saying lock,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
k,
Loch.
and that drives us insane. That's really annoying. It drives us up the wall. You know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
But
when somebody says lake or
yeah,
lock, we're like, no, it's the lock, it's loch, it's a loch.
may so maybe the lock will be a universal mistake, global mistake, global mistake. So the right is loch, loch.
Loch.
Okay, loch.
That's right. That's correct. Very good. Top marks.
Talk mark.
Top marks. Very good. Gold
Oh.
star.
So people in Indonesia remember Loch Ness. Loch.
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 Loch
Loch, not
Ness.
lock, yeah.
Yeah.
Loch.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
Loch.
right.
Not lock.
That's right. Well done.
Well done. Okay. So, if uh, if the audience want to buy, just click in the Amazon and you can get the Kindle version, audiobooks, hardcover, or paperback. Wait. This is the versions, yeah. The paperback, the Kindle, and audiobooks and hardback. Okay, maybe someone audience want to ask to Reverend Ellison.
Okay, Pak Reza. I will
Yes.
asking, sorry, just a few minutes. So, Miss Ellison, since now you still communicate with the spirit, right? So you still afraid, or since you has a experience communicate with the spirit is why they still here? Is it because attachment or what else? I want to know from the European as Scotland, yeah, probably Scotland perspective. Yeah, thank you.
Um, okay, well, I'm not sure if like what you were asking was first of all, I'm I'm not as afraid as I used to be about these things, just through experience and through knowing what I can do about them. Um, why they might be here, why these things is because they have something, have something, a message, they have something to give, or they need something, so it could be either of those things. But they talk about unfinished business. So
Ah,
it's
I
either
see.
that they have a message or that they need something, so you always, if a spirit appears, you just say, what is it you need? Or what is it you want to tell me? And that's it.
Okay, so
That's it.
also the
And
yeah.
it could be something really simple,
Mm.
like, okay, so they weren't spirits, but when I saw the angels, um, you know, just imagine that they were spirits, and I would say, like, what is it you want to tell me? And the message was, you have to tell people about us. That was the only message. So it could be the same with the spirits. They might have like just one small message that they want to tell you.
Okay, so this is not the ancestor, right? And some spirit is because suicide, then when communicate with you. Okay, okay, okay. Why I
Um,
asking why I asking this? Because yeah, I can communicate also with the spirit. So basically, the first that unfinished business, the second is suicide, the third is because yes, like you said that they have still have a message, yeah, like he want to take care the grandchild on other or something. Yeah, so I
yeah.
want to know also why I want to know also from the European or the and the what called the yeah like the Western perspective, yeah, actually same, yeah, because yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's, I think it sounds like it's the same.
Mm.
That sounds like we believe the same thing about that.
Then sometimes
Yeah,
you also can pray to them to release them to make a better to the back to the
you
back to
can. And
yes,
and
yes,
and and if their business is finished, then
sure,
it is good. It is good for you to do that. It's good for them to
yes,
to go to where they're supposed to be.
yes,
You know,
mm,
once our spirit leaves our body, it has another place to go to. We'll find out what that is at some point, but that place is not lingering about here,
sure,
you know, and haunting places. It's and my husband has met spirits who have been in places for years,
oh
and he's rescued them and helped them to move over, and they have been there, and I'm talking like hundreds of years.
yeah, same like
They've
here.
been in that position. It's maybe been a battle, for example, and they've been in that place for hundreds of years and suffering for hundreds of years, and he's helped them to go home, wherever their home is, and move on.
Okay, it's good experience, wonderful experience. Thank you so much. Yeah. So
Thank you.
basically same lah. In Buddhism also has, yeah, also in the Christian we can pray like a father, yeah. What call I forgot in English. Yeah, our Father in heaven, yeah. So we can release to them also. Yeah,
I think so.
yeah, in Islamic they can say the Al-Fatihah. Yeah, in Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in
Yeah.
Buddhism, yeah, usually they use prasna paramita. Ya, gate-gate para gate para sanggate bodhisattva.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, we share the experience lah. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any question from audience? We are in closing, yeah. It is 2 hours in our interview. So thank you, Reverend Alice. It is very exciting to us to discussing with you and talking
Let's
about
talk to
spirit
you.
things, aliens.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Can we uh take a picture together in Zoom? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe all of you can open your camera so we can take the picture.
Saya pakai foto profile aja Pak ya. Pakai notebook lama
Oh,
soalnya malu.
yes,
Sorry,
yes,
sorry.
Mr. Susan. Okay,
Mm,
so
thank you.
okay, please open your. I will count into three, three, two, one, and uh, okay. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Okay, Thank you for your time. And if audience want to buy book from Reverend Allison, you can go to Amazon and click Miss wait vision
Mystic Visions.
Mystic Vision. You can click search Mystic Vision. Okay, thank you for your time, Reverend Allison.
Thank
Thank
you.
you and see you again. Thank you.